Hi, this is Vidya. I want to talk about conflict repair in relationships. None of us have conflicts in relationships, right? So this wouldn't be important, I assume. Well, the reality is conflict is a part of our growth. We want to embrace this concept of conflict. I'm not going to call conflict healthy or unhealthy because it's neither. It's actually an inherent part of all relationships. The purpose of relationship is to support us in some ways and also challenge us through conflict in other ways. So today's topic is not directly about why conflict is important in relationship, but it is about one of the most dangerous words we can use when we are in conflict with another in a relationship. So I don't want to keep you in suspense for too long, so I'm going to disclose right away what that dangerous word is. It's the word but. This is one of the most dangerous words in a conflict situation. Why? Well, because when we use the word but, it has this impact of excluding and negating another person's experience. So it would be something like this. I hear you, but I don't feel comfortable in this situation. So when we get into the habit of using the word but in conflict and trying to repair the conflict from that standpoint, we will get nowhere because the other side is not going to feel like they're being met where they are. And so the first thing we want to do is to look at our language. Language is super important in any relationship and especially in intimate relationships. So look at the word and the language that you're using. And if you can, I know in some situations it absolutely will not be possible for you to remove the word but. Consider removing the word but from your vocabulary when it comes to repairing conflict in a relationship. I'm going to give you a solution as to how you would rephrase or reframe that in such a way that your partner is not going to feel like you're excluding them from the resolution of a conflict. But before we go there, let's just look at the reason why so many of us even enter conflict in a relationship. Well, first of all, we're two different personalities with two different contexts and experiences. We also have a different set of values coming into a relationship. Now, when I talk about values, I'm not talking about the common ways of referencing values, which is I'm honest and I'm smart and I'm intelligent and I am I'm beautiful and I'm trustworthy and I'm reliable. I'm not talking about those type of values. I'm talking about the deepest core values that you have learned to embrace in your life in order for you to feel honored as a human being. Every human being on the planet, and in fact, all 8 billion human beings on the planet have a unique set of core values. I'm not going to make this a disclosure in core values, but what suffice it to understand that it is the filter through which you're going to see all of your life experiences. So if in your core values, it's important for you to have a good relationship or important for you to have a stable financial situation in your household, then that is going to show up in your relationship very boldly. For you, whatever your core values are, and then for your partner, whatever their core values are. Now, most of the conflict in relationship occurs because we take our view and our filters of life and expect the other side to wear that same filter and see it from our point of view. But the thing is, they're not going to see it from our point of view. They're going to see it from their point of view. So it becomes really important to understand how to communicate in such a way that they don't feel dishonored for having their values And in fact, they are feeling like you are understanding them and hearing them and valuing them for who they are. And this is why it's really important to resolve conflict in a way that supports both people to come into a common understanding of how the conflict is serving the relationship and also how it's not serving the relationship. This is key, okay? So you never want to look at life through only one side, okay? We're told in this world of oozing positivity that every life experience should be 100% positive. And I will tell you that we cannot have positive life experiences all the time. And in fact, this frame up of having positive experiences sets up expectations that are unrealistic and sets us up for failure in our relationship. So instead, what we want to get in the habit of seeing is that these are all just experiences, neither positive nor negative. We grow through our challenging experiences or so-called negative experiences as much as we actually love the positive experiences and perhaps even grow through them. But the real understanding that you want to come into is that when we can shift our mindset to see that conflict is part of a relationship, it's natural in a relationship, and that in fact, it helps you to deepen your intimacy in a relationship. You can start to take the foot off the gas pedal when your heart rate starts to go up and when you feel like you're being challenged and put in the spot in a relationship because the other side is maybe doing something or behaving in a certain way that is not, you don't feel is supportive in your world. Okay, you can take the foot off the gas pedal and stop, maybe even count back to 10 so that you can ground yourself and then try and see it from the other standpoint, other person's viewpoint. This is a very important relationship skill to have, the ability to step out of our own mind, our own experience, and transport ourselves to the other person's experience without becoming them. And I'm going to get to why this is so important in a minute. Because when we can start seeing why it's important for them in their experience to have things a certain way or to behave in certain ways, then we can see that there's a truth to their reality in addition to a truth to our reality. Now, when we can embrace this mindset, we can start to change the way we look at conflict in a relationship. While a lot of our inner work, spiritual work is about finding our purpose and aligning to our purpose and finding ways to grow ourselves as human beings, relationship work is about actually undoing our independent nature and realizing that in universal consciousness, everybody is one. So a relationship is giving us the avenue to let go of our me construct, our egoic me construct, and embrace this construct of the other side, myself and us. So there's three entities in a relationship. I don't care whether it's a casual relationship, whether it's a friendship, or whether it's an intimate partnership. Every relationship is going to have three entities linked to it. And the third entity is that relationship entity. So you want to do what satisfies you. You want to do what satisfies them. And you want to do what satisfies the relationship, which means until this conflict is resolved to my satisfaction and your satisfaction and our satisfaction and greater good as a couple or as we are in relationship, the greater good of the relationship, you may say, the conflict is not truly resolved. Okay? This actually brings about a very balanced way of resolving conflicts in a relationship, because we're going to step out of our ego constructs. And so now I'm going to give you the solution to communicate when you are in conflict with your partner. So you're going to remove the word but from your vocabulary as much as possible. And then you're going to embrace the word and. So that might look like, I understand, I am hearing what you are saying, and I think I understand what you're saying, and what I also want to tell you, and what I want to also tell you is that ... something about yourself. So now notice the difference between you taking a stance that it's your way or the highway, and them taking a stance it's their way or the highway, and instead embracing the concept of you and I. Instead of it's either you or me. So now when we can take this attitude of using the word and in how we frame up our communication in a conflicting situation, we can start to see how another person may have a different filter that they're applying to the situation than you. And it will actually lead to you and that other person feeling closer and enable you to develop the deeper intimacy in your relationship. And ultimately, that's what we are here for. Whether we seek a romantic partnership, and especially if we seek a romantic partnership, or whether we are seeking friendships or casual relationships, or even if we are seeking just family relationships, we may be in a phase where we don't want an intimate relationship. But if we can just remember that it's about both sides, that it's a fair exchange between both sides, then we can start to really come into an understanding of our expanded self. Because ultimately, when we bring the other person's opinion back into ourselves for integration, then we are positioning the relationship to be very successful. We are positioning it to thrive instead of survive. It steps out of being a codependent relationship, and we step into what you call an interdependent relationship, where you realize that each of you brings your amazing self to the relationship, and that it's an equal relationship or partnership where you both are meeting each other as equals. And this is truly where relationships are headed on the planet, even though for the last several hundred years or so, it has been one of the toughest games on the planet. This is where relationships are actually headed, as men and women are both seeing that the current construct of how relationships are running is not working. And that's evidenced by at least 50% of the population saying that in some way or form, acknowledging that relationships are not working and they're ending up in divorces or leaving each other, or whatever you may call it, separating from each other. So this is the new construct that you, as a conscious being, has the power to step into. So you can recreate the world around you through a broadened lens, through an expanded perspective. Have a good day.